Thank you for taking time out with PSOA. Sean Johnston from Omaha, Nebraska. NFHS training tape week number 6. I'd like to thank all the subscribers out there. We reached a milestone this week, and we are over 500 subscribers. So thank you for taking time out. Thank you for subscribing. And please continue to share the information so others subscribe. Like the videos, like the shorts, like the quiz questions, and share with other coaches, fans, and officials. This week's main topic is going to be unsportsmanlike conduct by players. The rule says non-contact, but we're going to use some liberty on taking a look at the actual rule. So we're going to start with Article 1. No player shall act in an unsportsmanlike manner once the game officials assume authority for the game. Examples are, and these are very important words, but not limited to. So we're going to take a look at plays through this training tape of some examples where we feel unsportsmanlike conduct foul can be placed on the player, because it's not to the level of flagrant, but it does need to be addressed where if the behavior continues, they're at risk of ejecting themselves. And then the last one is baiting or taunting acts. So acts sometimes is non-contact, sometimes acts are contact that could incite roughness, that it could incite future escalation of unsporting behavior. So once again, we're going to use some liberty in those terms of, yes, there is contact, and it could be best for the game to put an unsportsmanlike conduct foul on that player. So play number 1, we're early in the game, and we have a double team block. The pass is clearly away. Referees, mechanically, we want to yell, ball's away, pass is away, ball is gone, not only to help us with the timing of roughing the passer, but believe it or not, these players hear that as well. So if we're using that mechanic and it's loud enough and players are listening and can hear it, these players should not be blocking anymore. But they continue to block and slam that player to the ground. Again, this is early in the game. I would probably start with maybe a verbal warning, maybe a flag, because it's completely unnecessary. And that player 2-on-1 block is vulnerable to injury. So you have to have a feel for the game of what is going to be best for the game. We are not to unsportsmanlike conduct level here whatsoever yet. But again, it's a feel for the game, and we can't ignore that 2 players unnecessarily took that player to the ground and all their body weight went on that player. Second play, we have a sideline play. Ball carrier going out of bounds. A couple things to consider here. All right, so number 1, this is the 2 players we're going to watch. Back judges, umpires. We have to understand sideline official right now is not going to be seeing this block or hit on the ball carrier. This line of scrimmage official right now is moving for safety and then a spot out of bounds. So this is an example of the nearest official is not going to be able to accurately rule on this. As we play it, we see number 7 gets blocked and then hits the ball carrier when he's out of bounds. So the question is this a late hit out of bounds? Is this a blocked into out of bounds? But then number 7 does a second action of pushing. So if 7 were to be blocked into, run into the ball carrier out of bounds, definitely nothing. He was blocked by a teammate out of bounds. However, with an extension of arms, Now we have a cognitive act that he did a second action while that ball carrier was out of bounds, and a late hit out of bounds would be supported. Not because he ran into him. He ran into him because he was blocked into him. But when he ran into him, he did that second act of his extension of arms to the ground. Unnecessary. But most people think it's the nearest officials that's going to see that. Umpire, back judge, you have to assist on this in 5-person mechanics. Ball carriers down. Another judgment call by the officials. So umpire, you're going to have a clear look at this. All right. If in your judgment, this player could have jumped over this ball carrier that is on the ground, you would have a foul for a late hit. If in your judgment, you don't think this hit was avoidable because he already committed, then it wouldn't be a foul. This video in slow motion looks like he intentionally slows down and goes right down on that ball carrier. A foul for late hit would have been supported on this play. Interesting play. All right, so first we got running into. This is enough of a displacement. Does the kicker act a little bit? Maybe. But if you're a coach or player watching this, if you're going to go into the kicker, wrap up that kicker and keep that kicker on his feet. Do everything you can not to displace him on the ground, because the officials are going to err to when they make contact with the kicker and that kicker is displaced to the ground, running into the kicker. This is definitely not roughing, though. This is not a personal foul level. And if we take a look at the play right now, we got 4th and 2. So running into the kicker is a first down. Going through this play, we have another potential foul. All right. Illegal block in the back. We have a two-hand. We have contact between the shoulder blades in the number. And we have the ball carrier advancing for positive gain. All right, so this is an example of it's a little foul that makes a big difference. Had this block in the back lead to a tackle, we would not have a foul. But this little shove, this little push leads to having that ball carrier go an additional 5 yards. So if we have running into the kicker, we would decline that illegal block in the back that would be called, because they would take the 5-yard penalty running into the kicker that would result in a first down. So referee, you have running into the kicker. All right, we have the line judge going downfield that has the illegal block in the back. That would have some crew communication, and we would have to get the choice. And officials, if the coach chooses not running into an illegal block in the back, slow down and remind that coach, hey, coach, if you take the illegal block in the back, it is going to be your opponent's ball. If you take running into the kicker, it is going to be your ball, first down and 10. Just like we would do at a coin toss, and a team wins the coin toss and they say, we want to kick. Whoa. Let me give you your choices. Do you want to defer or do you want to receive? Don't let them make the wrong choice on an obvious situation, because you don't know the emotions and what's going through their mental processes. Help them, guide them through the situation. All right, just a reminder here at legal substitution. Good job not calling a foul on this, but remind the players as they're running by you, they should make an effort to get into their team area. All right, so by rule, the players, just like as you see down here, all the players have to be in their team area. He does successfully get out of bounds, and then he stops. All right, so make that communication to prevent a foul. Hey, number 3, continue jogging towards your team area. It's going to give you less of a complaint on the other team if the other team argues they have somebody out of the team area. All right, as we're going through this play, we have a run play, and we're going to see two blockers engaged. All right, so ball's dead by rule. We had two players go down to the ground. Definitely not holding. Doesn't impact the player, doesn't impact the play. And the official does a great job of dead ball officiating in here. He sees the players continuing to engage after the play, uses proximity. I'm sure he's using a voice. Plays over, that's enough. So good job of dead ball officiating of something that can escalate, and we're using our voice and proximity to prevent that escalation. All right, so a couple back-to-back plays. All right, we got encroachment. This is not a personal foul. So he enters the neutral zone, makes contact, lineman falls backwards, not forceful, not punishing, not attacking. This is just going to be a 5-yard encroachment, correctly called. Different situation later in the game. All right, we got 4th down. Just because a player encroaches does not allow them to get a free shot on the opponent. All right, so it might have started as encroachment, but you can upgrade it to a personal foul. All right. Again, you have to have a feel for the game. The first one was a one-hand tap. This is a 2-hand shove. Is it forcible? Is it punishing? No. But if the same player is continuing to do the same foul over and over and over again and it escalates up, you can escalate the penalty up as well. It's a feel for the game. But just know you can make that unnecessary roughness, personal foul, and go with that 15-yard penalty. Some maybe even do encroachment, dead ball, and then dead ball, personal foul. I would split the loaf and enforce one foul. All right, so this is what we're looking for, late hit out of bounds. This is a true second act. All right, so the line of scrimmage official, once again, is coming at him. Now he's safe. We have a true, clearly out of bounds shove. So left foot is down. He's also giving himself up. And then we have a shove. All right, so correctly called, late hit out of bounds, clearly had one foot down, and unnecessary contact out of bounds. So good job getting that foul there. Later in the game, we have out of bounds. Right here, right foot is out of bounds. Everything up to this point is legal. The defense did the first act of getting that player out of bounds. But then when we have a second act of lifting and slamming, now this is a personal foul. Understand heat of the moment situation, continual acts. If a player continues to do it, again, is this baiting? Is this taunting? Is this rising the animosity in the game? If you feel it's baiting and taunting, you may be able to put an unsportsmanlike conduct. So now this player knows if they continue to behave this way, they're at risk of ejecting themselves. You know, football is a very physical collision sport. But when those collisions are avoidable and they continually not try to avoid them, that's baiting and taunting the opponent to escalate with them. And I think we have the rule to support us on that. This is a good mechanic play. So we're snapping from the 11-yard line. We got a double wide receiver at the bottom of the screen. All right, so the back judge is going to have, we have a double receiver at the top of the screen too. All right, so we're going to have these receivers both go downfield. And the H does a good job. As his key goes downfield, he goes downfield. Umpire is moving up to the line of scrimmage. Doesn't quite get there. But this is the important importance of getting there. All right, so we have a lineman clearly beyond 2 yards downfield. As that H is going downfield, he's going to lose the true perspective of that 11-yard line. He has a good perspective, but he may lose that true perspective once he goes down at least 3 yards. Umpire, if you get to that line of scrimmage, yeah, you are getting there for illegal forward pass. You're getting there to rule ineligible linemen downfield as they pass you. But you're also going to be able to help with where was that ball caught. All right, so the philosophy, when in doubt, it is caught at or behind the line of scrimmage. I think this ball is caught clearly at the 11, so we do not have a foul for an eligible lineman downfield. But this is a play where we could be fooled if we're not in the correct position of officiating with our feet. So correctly, no call for IDP as that pass was caught at the line of scrimmage. We have a catch, no catch. So let's just review. For a receiver to be deemed catching the ball, they must have clear possession in hand or hands, a body part touch in bounds, and if they are an upright receiver, they now have to make a football move to turn into a ball carrier. If they are a falling receiver, they must maintain possession of that ball throughout surviving the ground. So after that review, take a look at this play. All right, so we have possession. We have body part down. All right, so now the question is this a falling receiver or is this a receiver turning ball carrier? All right, without a true extension of the football, because that is what a ball carrier would do in this situation. They would extend the football out towards the goal line, and that would change them into a ball carrier because we have a football act. I don't have that here. I have a falling receiver. Since I have a falling receiver, that's now going to put me in the category of that receiver must survive the ground, and as we see, the ball is out. We don't have a normal traditional football move with the extension. He actually tucks it like a traditional receiver. He's falling to the ground. He loses possession of the ball. The ball is now loose. We have an incomplete pass. All right, so a good play to talk about as a crew. All right, if multiple people see this action, an angle can make a huge difference. All right, so calling official, if you're not sure, just stop the clock. See if anybody on the crew sees it. But then you just break it down on the field. Was it a receiver turning ball carrier? Did he become a ball carrier by making a football move? Or was it a receiver remaining a receiver and now he has to survive the ground? If he doesn't survive the ground without clear possession, when in doubt, wipe it out, incomplete pass. All right, we're going to transition back to unsportsmanlike conduct and baiting and taunting. So we have a pass that goes incomplete. And as we always see on TV, receivers and defensive backs always banter a little bit. It's friendly communication. It's competitive communication. But we have to be aware of it. So dead ball officiating. So when these two players start running back together, yes, ball mechanics are important. Yes, we want that ball down so that 40-second play clock doesn't have to be pumped back up to 25 seconds. But we have to have our red flags up here. All right, we should have an official running with these two back to the line of scrimmage. Again, a feel for the game, the environment, intensity, emotion between players. Proximity could prevent a lot of stuff. All right, so these players are going back, and the two nearest officials are looking at the ball. I'll give props to this umpire. This umpire has eyes on it. All right, so that's good. We have somebody having eyes on this interaction. All right, so now as we go, we have contact and the player goes down to the ground. All right, so again, I'm not going to judge, was this contact enough for a personal foul? Was this contact enough for an unsportsmanlike conduct foul? But this is another example of if we have escalation in the game, we have defensive back wide receiver jawing at each other, and we do have a contact, and we've talked to the players, we warned the coaches, and they're just not listening to us and changing their behavior, we can put an unsportsmanlike conduct foul on this type of behavior. Because if we don't, it's just going to continue. It's baiting the opponent to escalate, where now that receiver knows, all right, I hit that line, and I can't do it again. Otherwise, I'm at risk of ejecting myself, and I cannot play next week. So good things to talk about: dead ball officiating, nearest officials. You see active players, stay with them. Let's pump up the clock to 25 if that ball gets in late. If we could prevent this escalation of personal contact or potentially unsportsmanlike contact. Might as well end this training tape. If you take a look at the clock at the bottom of the screen, we have 34 to 28, so a 6-point spread with 48 seconds left. All right, so we have to be aware of a lot of stuff, how much timeouts are left, what's the potential that they're going to do, an onside kick it deep. Start thinking like a coach. Start thinking the game. So as we play this out, all right, so number one, is this a pop-up kick? All right, is this ball driven directly into the ground and goes high into the air? If you judge that, yes, that is a ball that goes directly into the ground, high into the air, because it went over that first line helmet, we have a dead ball foul in high school football. All right, illegal pop-up kick is a dead ball foul. We're blowing our whistles. We're throwing our flag. It is not legal. This crew judges it not to be a pop-up kick. All right, so the ball is live and in play. It does go 10 yards. It does touch the ground. We'll even say it touches number 22. The kicking team recovers the ball. Whenever the ball status is a kick and the kicking team recovers the ball is dead by rule. So there might be a couple seconds where we delay our reaction. We're processing what all happens because it does happen quick, and we have to process mechanics, the rules, the situation, right? But by this point, we should be blowing that ball dead. All right. Yes, we have a kick. Yes, we have a touch. We have the receivers just touching the ball. They're not possessing the ball. And now we have the kickers clearly possessing the ball. It's a kick ball. The ball is dead. So at that point, we should blow dead. We should give the ball to the kickers at the spot they recover the kick, which would be the B28. So with 47 seconds left, we would have first down and 10 from the B28 for them to be able to go in and score a touchdown to tie it and a point after attempt to win it. And though I said that might have been the last play, this is truly going to be the last play. Our main topic is unsportsmanlike conduct fouls, personal fouls, and this one you could even deem flagrant. All right, so we're going to let it play out. We have this player number 8 engaging the opponent. Right now, he is swinging his arm downwards. All right, and then as you're going to see it, he comes with an upward thrust and then rips off the helmet. All right, so mechanically, we have a ball carrier going down in the back. All right, so umpires, all right, you're not going to be responsible for spotting the ball with the yard line, and you have a very engaged opponent matchup right next to you, get your eyes there right now to try to have good judgment on what is going on here. So we have a potential punch. We definitely have a helmet ripping off. All right, so the back judge does a good job of having eyes on it and throwing the flag. All right, I don't know what the back judge decided to throw on this, but just know, officials, if you would have deemed this action as a punch, you would have been supported, and a punch is a flagrant foul. And we said this, I believe it was training tape number 3. If you don't know if this is a punch, but you think it is, put an unsportsmanlike conduct foul on this player. I think you could put an unsportsmanlike foul on this player for ripping off the helmet and throwing it. Yes, it is contact. All right, but that rule doesn't cover every single possible situation. And it could be connected to baiting and taunting. So at maximum, this is a punch, flagrant foul, ejection. At minimum, it's a personal foul, face mask. And right in the middle, if we definitely don't know it's a punch, but we saw that swing, you could go on sportsmanlike conduct on the player, let the coach know. If this player gets another unsportsmanlike conduct, they're disqualified from this game and they cannot play next week. With the middle of the season going on, district play is heating up. This is the part of the season. We're in week 7 here in Nebraska. We're in the final third of the season. So there are some teams that they know they're not going to play in the playoffs. You have some teams that are definitely going to be playing in the playoffs. And then you're going to have matchups where both teams are fighting for a spot in the playoffs. You have to be aware of that as an officiating crew. Have that conversation and understand the environment and the temperature of the game to decide and figure out how are we going to enforce these dead ball fouls, these baiting, taunting, unsportsmanlike, or personal fouls, so we keep the game as competitive competition, but not getting dangerous and out of hand. With that being said, thank you for taking time out to watch and listen to Week 6 training tape for NFHS. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe to the channel, to the video, and keep on sharing it with other fans, coaches, and fellow officials. Make it a great week, safe travels, and look forward to touching base with all you again for Week 7 training tape.